Alright, I may be a week late on this, but I just finished watching the Beaker Girls Series 1, which, yeah, for those who don't know, this is another sequel series to the Tracy Beaker, the story of Tracy Beaker. So this is basically Series 2 of My Mum Tracy Beaker, but the show is now called The Beaker Girls. Whether that'll be for onwards, I don't know, but regardless, here we are. So, yeah, so the thing I'll say about this, the number one positive thing I'll say about this show is it has definitely learned of the needs more time issue from the My Mum Tracy Baker miniseries. This miniseries, which is 5 episodes long, so 5 half-an-hour episodes this time around, and it allows basically plots to breathe a little bit more. It still does feel very fast paced in places that it does feel like it's going a little bit too quickly, but I don't have the same issue on it's going too quickly that I did previously. So, yeah, this show is set, X amount of time after My Mum Tracy Beaker ended. It's never explained how long it is, though we do get a COVID reference in it, so who knows, maybe it's been a year, I'm guessing, but I will say the actress who plays Jess in this one is a lot better than she was in My Mum Tracy Beaker. It she, in this one it feels like she's found her footing a lot more and is, actually emoting and is no longer, just a kind of, emotionless wooden plank for the most part. This time Jess, is also feels like she's better written as well. Feels more like, an actual kid and an actual character in this. Because in this, she is 11 and sometimes she does, lose her temper at things or feels upset about things. So, yeah. I, again, I'm trying to be as spoiler free as possible because, if you've liked any of the other Tracy Beaker stuff, especially if you liked the My Mum Tracy Beaker series, you'll definitely like this. Danny Harmer, as ever, is fantastic as ever. Although, saying that, this one is less about Danny Harmer this time around, or Tracy Beaker this time around. She is obviously still a major character in this, but this one, while the previous one, was centered around her, this one is centered more around Jess and everything about her. I will say episode 1 of this series is definitely the weakest. And the reason I'll say that is because episode 1 kind of feels like it's dragging its heels a little bit. That's the one problem I'd say with this series is that the first episode kind of takes a while to get going. To be honest, it really does. But yeah. So to go into, I won't spoil everything, but to go into slight spoilers. So in 3, 2, 1. So this series is about Jess meeting a girl who has ran away from care called Jorgen. Is it Jordan or Jorgen? I can't remember which. But basically, she comes across her after she steals an ice cream from her. And basically, that is one of, the plot points throughout this series. That basically, Jorgen is basically just a homeless person who is a bit older than Jess, but still, very much a kid. And the whole story is obviously Tracy, being Tracy, wants to take care of her and take her in. And that's basically what the series is about. But that's just plot point number 1. The second biggest plot point of the series is we finally, get to see Jess's dad in this series. And yeah, it kind of was obvious. I mean, they did tease it before, but yeah, I will say the one thing about the Jess's gag bit, and it is done really well. The only thing I'd say about it is there's two issues with it. One is it doesn't have a lot of time to kind of settle, and it's mainly just all done and over with in one episode and a bit in another. But also, the guy who plays Jess's dad, I think the only problem is that he never tends to look, at Jess when he's talking to her. And yeah, I don't know if this was the direction or the actor, but for some reason he never seems to be looking at Jess, and it's clear that he's not deliberately trying to avoid her gaze. It just looks, quite frankly, a little bit odd, and he does this with other characters as well, where he just seem. I don't know if it's just the way it's edited or what, but it seems like his eye gaze is just to something else because he's clearly making eye contact with something, but yeah, that was just a weird thing I kind of picked up on when watching it. We also get Sean back in this series again, briefly, but it does make a big thing because we also get Justine Littlewood in this series. And yeah, the Justine bit in this series is very brief. It is pretty brief in this series. I think this series does have a bit of an easier time because it doesn't have to deal with what My Mum Tracy Beaker was doing, and it was trying to basically appease different continuities of Tracy Beaker, because in the My Mum Tracy Beaker, it was trying to sort of fit in with the original book, but also the Tracy Beaker Returns TV series and how it ended. And it was kind of at war with each other and just like which one it was doing, so it kind of kept contradicting each other slightly. This one, since it's just a continuation of that, it didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, Justine Littlewood is in this series very briefly. She's only in episode 2 briefly, and then episode 5 briefly as well. But the spoilers for that, although it's pretty obvious when watching it where it's gonna go and the way she acts, but spoilers for that in 3, 2, 1. Justine Littlewood is pregnant, and I wonder who the father is. Yes, the father is Sean, and that is basically the plot and that and how everything climaxes in the last episode, which is a Christmas special. And that they go a little bit cliched and literally have Justine give birth in the, I can't remember what they're called, beach huts, I think they're called, and the baby's even born into a bloody manger. Yeah, just like hitting it on the nose a little bit much there, hitting it on the nose a little bit, but okay, fine, fair enough. Yeah, I think the thing with this is that this one, it does have a lot of characters in it. It does have a lot of them, and I don't know. I think maybe we should, things should have maybe, rather than just wasting episode 1, use a little bit more of episode 1 to introduce some of the things a bit earlier on, so they can then build upon them. But one of the things that was built upon pretty well was Tracy lying to Jess, which, yeah, it is a thing that, happens. But the thing is, one of the things that I kind of questions is that Jess is annoyed that, Tracy, her mum is not treating her like an adult. But the thing is that Jess is 11. Like, I'd understand, I'd understand from Jess's point of view, she wants to be treated like an adult, but Tracy feels like, maybe she should treat her like an adult, not like a little kid. It's just like, 11 is not that old. 11, you are still very much in child territory. I'd understand, if Jess was like, I don't know, a 16-year-old teenager and Tracy was still treating her like a kid, then okay, fair enough. But the fact that she's 11, just like, yeah, Tracy has every right to make all the decisions and that. You're 11. Tracy, she is 11. You are allowed to basically just tell her what to do because yes, you are the adult, you are the responsible one, but okay, I guess. I think sometimes it people forget that Jess is a kid. Jess is only a kid, and she's only, supposedly 11 years old. She's supposed to be 11 years old, so yeah, as an 11-year-old, you want to basically, be essentially, kind of treated like an adult. I can understand that part from Jess's point of view, but in Tracy's point of view, just like, they're your kid. It if you're treating them like a kid, but it's protecting them and whatever, then tough titties if they don't like it. There you go. You know, if she was a teenager, like into her mid teens, then okay, you might have some ground to stand on. But there, it's like, okay, it does have it is still though really good, and it's a really good drama. I think the fact that it doesn't outstay its welcome. I think that's it. The fact that it's only 5 episodes long, each series is only, if this does continue, which I think it is, if each series is only like a few episodes long, I think something like this, is a more dedicated story to it. I think it does help it flow a lot better rather than trying to drag this out for an extremely long amount of time. For example, the dumping ground, for example, I earlier this year decided to marathon all of the dumping ground, and when I got, I think it was up to series 9, the latest series, I got up to Tyler's departure, and then got a couple of episodes after that, and I just couldn't continue after that because it just got so boring and monotonous. But this doesn't have that. It's very, tightly focused on that, and again, apart from the first episode, there's not really any wasted, space in that here. So yeah, I do highly recommend that you go watch the Beaker Girls, and yeah, it came out surprisingly quickly as well. So yeah, there we go, people. There we go.